This podcast is produced by OnPod, a video content studio near you. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, I'm with JP. JP, thanks for coming today.
Oh, thanks for having me. Great to be here.
So just to talk about you, who you are very quickly without going too far, but we are competitors.
Yeah.
We both own podcast studios. Yeah. And I think today we're going to talk about, competition and why it's good to work together to build a bigger community and things like that. Yeah. And so, super quick, talk about your studio very quick and, your quick background.
Sure. So, I'm the founder of Pop-Up Podcasting. We have a studio, it's about a 30-minute walk from here, down the street near Parliament Hill here in Ottawa. And we have a different model than you. We are not automated. We have a live producer in the room. And we've talked in the past about how we're competitors, but I think getting more people podcasting is that the rising tide lifts all ships, and also we have different products, and even just the look of your studio is different from the look of my studio. The services we provide are different in different ways, and so I think there's room for both of us. We're not here to fight today, but no. It's good to be here, and I am a little intimidated being in the competitions.
I know I'll have to come to your studio at
absolutely.
some point,
we'll
and I think I think it's good because working together means I think we'll survive, whatever happens with, AI and change, with technology, coming forward, like these crazy things. I mean, I can replicate an AI me and, write some text and I'm going to talk about it. I've done it before and it's not bad, but I do think that real content will be best. Be want, but how do you see technology moving forward versus your business? Do you see do you see any danger of losing podcasting, or do you see it going forward?
It's a good question, and I mean, I think anybody who's in a business that parts of it can be automated by AI, and we're all thinking about, are we going to have our jobs in the future?
Yeah.
I think there's a space for people like us who are helping people create authentic human content, right? And maybe that'll become even more valuable as we see the AI slop filling our feeds, right? That's always been the heart of podcasting for me is authenticity. I always talk to people, people come into our studio sometimes and they think they need to be like a news broadcaster and very professional, official. And I always tell them, let's take it down a notch, because it's about the human connection and about being authentic. And I think the thing that's made podcasting grow so much over the years is that it's not CBC, it's not Fox News, it's not, it's a different thing. And it's kind of like pulling back the curtain and seeing the real people behind it.
Yeah, so it's you, it's me, it's people. It's when a politician comes to our studios, and I saw some go to your studio, some came to mine, and it's sometimes they're politician, but on the other hand, we want to see the real person. Yeah. And I think podcasting brings that. Yeah.
So as far as AI goes, I mean, we're using certain AI technologies. We're seeing it as an enabling thing for our clients to get things out there that they want to get out there faster, more efficiently, less cost, stuff like that. And so I think there's always going to be a space for, that technology enablement. I mean, that's what we're already doing is our clients can buy these microphones, can buy these cameras, can do it all themselves, but it's you need a lot of knowledge, you need a lot of expertise. And so, being the people who say, we'll take care of that for you. I think we can keep doing that. We'll take care of the AI side of it as well. And you don't have to be an expert. You can be an expert in your world, and we'll help you get your message out there.
Yeah. Let's talk about, costs and a little bit about AI. And it's interesting because, for me, I have these plans and I give, 20 to 30 reels sometimes out of Opus Clip. I don't know if you know Opus Clip. So it's an automatic thing. You draw the podcast and there is going to give you the clip. So we've decided we're not even going to look at the clips. We're going to give them to you as an add-on and pay for that. But, you know, it is a problem now because it does take time, right? Upload, download, re-upload, send to the client. It does take time. And it's like, you know, sometimes we look at it and we're going to change our model. Actually, it's coming soon with our new booking system, Podix.
Cool.
And it's like, instead we're going to offer maybe like, you know, 3 clips for a certain price or things like that. But what do you think about like, you know, pricing and then these AI tools and all these things? Like, obviously, I think people don't realize how long it takes, right? Upload, download, just that.
Yeah. And then editing, right? Like we have certain clients who choose to, you know, self-record, or they're recording something in another city. So they do it at another studio and then they send us the footage. And they're like, how much does it cost compared to our usual when we come into your studio? And I price it the same. I'm like, I did too. You don't get a discount because I wasn't there for the recording. I couldn't mark the edit points. I don't know what I'm getting. It might technically, there might be issues that we have to fix. Yeah. So
big issues.
You're kind of getting the studio for free when you work with us, because if you record it on your own and send it to us, we're probably going to have to work harder to make a good product.
It is
in the end.
And I did, for a client of mine, I did like 7 edits, me and one of my editors. And it was not that it's horrible, like it's okay, but these studios, and I don't know how we can talk about bitrate and how big of files you're giving your clients. We record, here we have 4K and 1080, which is great. But then 4K comes up to, you know, maybe a 6 gig file or something, which is not bad. It's small.
For sure.
Some of these clients that send me their footage, like, can you edit this? And it's like, I get this. And the audio is okay. It's split, but it's not connected to the file. It's very different. Like this, or it's mixed audio, or it's like that, a whole mess of audio stuff. And then the files are like, not that good looking, you know, like the colors are not that good looking, but they're like 60 gigs a file, a camera. So then you're like, what's happening here, you know?
I mean, we just did a job for a regular client that usually records with us remotely. So we do that too, using Riverside or Zoom. We'll record fully remote or remote plus studio. But this time they were getting together in Toronto. So we sent them to a studio in Toronto, and we got back. I think it was 3 cameras. So like, fewer cameras than we have in our studio, but 50 gigs per camera. And then a 50 gig switched program file, and then separate audio that we had to sync if we were going to do our own camera switch. Anyway, it was just like, we do. I mean, we record in camera 4K in case we need it. We almost never do, but our mixer records 1080 and we edit in 1080 and no client has ever complained about receiving a 1080
and we export in 1080 anyways. Sometimes the 4K here is nice, but we can also bring up the bit rate on the 1080, and our other studios are 1080, and it's fine. You know, it's not a big deal, but those files, I think, sometimes, I don't know, like, what do you record on, like H.264, or do you record like RAW? Or?
No, it's H.264. We record in an ATEM
so
Extreme ISO.
In the switcher,
So we record in the switcher, and then on the cameras we record. It's a lower, like 60 megabit 4K, 24 frames a second.
So it's not too bad. But I think some people don't understand, like, they just want the biggest files ever, and they think that's the biggest quality. But sometimes you won't necessarily see the quality change between a 20 gig file and a 50 gig file.
No. And
it's like, it's a lot of time to download and upload.
Well, and getting
clients, it's like impossible.
Oh, for sure. Well, and getting back to your question about Opus Clip, right? We've used Opus Clip. I was just working with it. So I was doing like, with this client that has a bigger budget, and we have a bit more time to play with. I was using Opus Clip to like create some, like basically to do that initial sweep through the episode, find the content. I can then audition the 20, 30 clips that it spits out and say, okay, I want that one and that one, but I'm going to edit them again in we use Resolve. But that's the labor intensive part, right? Like and for any of our lower budget clients, we're like sending them like, you need to review this before you publish it, because we haven't necessarily gone through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that side of it is it's so labor intensive. And even when we talk about AI and stuff there, you always have to proofread it. And everything that, you get AI to spit out 100 blog posts in 20 minutes, sure. But somebody should read those before they go out. And that's the big time suck, I guess.
Yeah, because people do want lower costs and, AI helps, but it's not perfect. So then we have to go back and raise the cost to do multiple verification and really go through the content, a really like content manager of the podcast. Yeah. Do you guys post for people or anything like that, or not?
Not usually. There's a couple of clients that had a really hard time with it, or were willing to pay a little extra for us to do that. But just for kind of simplicity and not being on call for the client 24/7, I like to say, we'll do some training with clients and say, here's how to use the platform. Here's how to post. We're here if you have technical issues, we'll help out. But here's the MP4 or the MP3 if it's an audio only podcast, which we still do a few. And you schedule it and you post it. Because I used to do that a bit, but there'd be like last minute calls of like, oh, we need to change something, pull it down or unschedule it or whatever.
They didn't have necessarily access to those.
Yeah. So kind of dealing with that side of it is we set up distribution for our clients. We train them how to use it, but I don't really want to get involved in the day-to-day posting, I guess.
Yeah. I've been thinking about this thing, like kind of going through the same process as you, where, we did posting and then we stopped and then, now we're like thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's something we could collaborate in the future and find an external company to post for clients.
Right.
Hey,
yeah.
I think that would work, like a marketing company,
I've thought about that of bringing on or even just having a partnership with like just like being a podcast manager is a different job, and it's not totally a job that our company does. It's dealing with social media, it's dealing with posting the episodes, it's maybe even thinking about the content strategy and like who we're going to have on as guests and all that stuff. And like we've mostly stuck with like technical production. So that feels like something where we either make a partnership or we have to bring on an employee that's going to be just for that.
And I was talking to, have you seen Podcast Junkies? Have you seen that podcast?
Yeah. I'm not super familiar, but I know.
So he does a little bit of that, and we've been talking. So anyways, we'll connect later on that, because we're trying to see if we can do a partnership, and then maybe there's more. And he does it well, like, so it is pretty nice, but who knows, right?
Yeah.
Now let's go back to, why do people do podcasting? What's for you on your side, like, why do you think people should do podcasting?
It's a good question. I mean, I always, you're going to stump me with an easy question, but it's, I think there's different reasons for different clients that we work with. And I always try to promote the value of doing the podcast, right? Of like, because with online content, trying to promote it, you're not necessarily going to go viral. You're not necessarily going to get like a huge audience. So I think the value of doing the podcast in itself, and a lot of clients talk to us about how they really like that, of like, I get to sit down with a potential client or with, somebody in my industry and pick their brain and kind of make that connection. And also, you get this sort of juice of being like a thought leader in your space.
Exactly.
And then I think the short form video has kind of changed things in a way, because you're often going to get higher consumption of the clips than of the actual full episode.
Yeah.
And so I think it's sort of, it can be a precursor to a lot of content, where you're going to do the podcast interview, but then you're going to get a bunch of clips. You're going to do some blog posts out of it, an email, sort of spinning it out in a few different ways. And, it certainly doesn't hurt in this kind of content driven world that we have to to be putting your face out there, putting your name out there,
talking
about your expertise. But I think it's maybe been oversold in some ways as like this, like a get rich quick scheme, or like, or even like a get popular quick thing. It's more, to me, it's more about almost like nurturing the audience you already have than about like massive audience growth. You're going to grow a little bit with a podcast for sure. And maybe more through those clips and those other kinds of media that come out of it. But yeah, I maybe I'm a bad businessman, but when somebody comes in and says, you know, I want to invest in this podcast, but then I want it to like start paying for itself pretty soon. I want to monetize in a big way. I often, you know, advise them to pump the brakes a little bit, because it's typically a slow growth type of media. So
you need 2 years.
I think, that's
almost. Because okay, 1 year, if you're really on it, 52 episodes, right? 100 episodes. It's not that much, right? Just 100 clips. But plus your clips, plus your, you know, the stuff you're going to do with that. And I love that you talked about, you know, making more content out of that one piece where, you know, you can grab this, you can grab the SRT file, which is like the transcript of the podcast, and then throw that in AI, and then create an article, and then post the article on LinkedIn, or, you know, do something with that. I think that's huge. And it's great for your SEO. If you put that on your website, you know, there's all this great stuff. And what was I going to say? I was going to say, I lost my train of thought.
Well, I mean, I'll say AI is great for that. Like I don't know, I'm curious what you've used in the past, but like we use a platform called Cast Magic.
Okay.
And it's, you know, upload your video, upload your audio, you know, an hour, whatever length it is. And then it does exactly that. It transcribes it. It spits out the, you know, like an email newsletter about the podcast, you know, a bunch of social posts. It does, you know, so it sort of creates a lot of those sort of text assets that you might want in a blog post and stuff like that. So that's, I think it's hard to fake, you know, this with AI, but once you have this, it's so easy these days to spin it into a million different forms.
Yeah, it is great for SEO. So that's one thing I would say, like when you do podcasts, like it's going to build your SEO. Well, it's going to build content for your SEO. Now you have to act on it and post and do it and do these articles, which is huge. And you automatically become the expert. Right. Because you have your face, you're on video. So people kind of see value in that. And, you know, how we use podcasts to get clients is exactly what we're doing today is, you know, I found the people I like on Sales Navigator on LinkedIn. Look it up if you don't know Sales Navigator, but you can really search anyone. And that's the beauty of it. So I can go and find all the CEOs that I like and then invite them to my podcast. And any business could do that. Let's say an insurance broker, you know, it's like, I got nothing about insurance broker, but it must be really hard to sell insurance.
Right.
Like send a message to somebody, hey, I'm selling insurance, you know, it's like, I'm going to delete it, which is, but if I need it, and if I know the person, totally different deal.
Right.
Right. And I think if they switch, if that insurance broker switched their LinkedIn to be kind of a podcast host of a, you know, of experts or something. And then he invited the people that are close to retirement, like who knows what type of insurance you're selling. But then, you know, you create a connection. They become your friends, and then they hopefully become your raving fans of your insurance. Or whatever you do, right?
Sure.
So that's kind of the idea. And I think podcasting for me is a great way to network. And then after that, obviously there's you could potentially monetize your podcast, which is in Canada, it's such a small market. I met this company, and I still don't know, like, you know, very honest about this, but I still don't know if they're a scam or they're real.
Okay.
No, but it's like a small company, but they seem real. I met the guys, nice, you know. You never know these days. Like you have to watch out. And it's called Jam X.
I've talked to them too.
Okay.
They reached out.
And what did you think?
It's an interesting concept. I think I'm also a little bit. I don't think it's a scam, but I think it's like it has a very specific use case where their sales pitch is basically like, we'll promote your podcast.
Yeah.
And you'll get paid.
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. As well. Yeah. They make like 80%, you make 30, but they're going to push out your podcast, mainly in English, by the way. So French, they're not there yet.
Okay.
They're mainly US from what I understand, but they're going to push out your podcast, advertise it, and make it that it can be monetized because you need a certain amount of views.
Right.
Don't know how to do that, but they do it.
Yeah.
Through their channels. Don't know what the channels is, but
well, I think it's
partners.
Like some of it is like if you have a sports podcast, they're like, we're going to place like a little player on a bunch of sports websites. And then, so it's almost like they're putting a little ad for your podcast with a player in it.
Probably autoplays.
And then maybe, I hope not. We've seen that in the past where other people do that to juice their numbers. But, and then, it's basically like they put your little podcast player on a bunch of random sports websites. And then if you press play before the podcast plays, you hear an ad for Coca-Cola. And then, Coca-Cola is paying for that ad for your podcast, but also you're getting a bit. Anyway, I mean, most of the clients we work for are trying to advertise themselves. And so I haven't tried it. I haven't really played with it because most of our clients are like, I don't want to advertise Coca-Cola. I want to advertise me.
Well, that's it. You don't know what the advertisement is going to be.
Right.
But I feel like it'd be great for our clients to have this. And why is because the contract with JamX, and it's like a little catch, right?
Yeah.
Is like you need to do podcasting for a year.
Right.
Right. It's kind of like, I think you get like 3 months free and then 8 months or something. Yeah. So you need to do podcasting for a year. So obviously for us, it's amazing if somebody is stuck to do podcasting for a year. Yeah. But if they make money out of it, it's great because some clients want to advertise. Yeah. But I'm not sure yet if I want to try it.
Yeah. And just see if like, do you get the numbers? Is the money real? Like all that stuff.
But then when they ask me to like give my bank info, it's just like, I don't know, like it's for them to deposit. Like it's all, maybe, but it's also like US, UK company. I don't know. Right. So I was kind of skittish about it. But if anybody knows about JamX, let us know.
Yeah. Who's going to be the brave person who tries it and tells us if it's good?
Please try it. Please let us know how it's good. So that's an interesting, like, I'd love to have that for my clients.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and that's like so many clients struggle with growth.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to come in and say, how do I get 10,000, viewers on each episode? And I'm like, I don't know. I mostly like record and edit. That's my specialty. And we'll help you get into Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all, and YouTube and all that. But like, that's a whole other specialty.
Because your podcast becomes a business that you need to advertise. Like I remember when I started my business, I didn't advertise. Well, I didn't get clients. It's like it's that simple. I didn't do marketing and sales. Yeah. So your podcast is kind of the same thing. You have to do marketing and sales. Yeah. And obviously people don't necessarily understand that. But a good story is my first podcaster is my friend Pierre. He did Le Temps d'une bière, so like a beer podcast / history. And he started my house and all that stuff. But then he became the beer expert in the region.
Right.
Like he became this guy that knows all the breweries, all the beers. He became this writer, right? The blog and the website that he did, working with the podcast kind of came all together. And now he doesn't really do podcasts anymore, but he has 150 episodes or something.
Right.
And he sold packages to breweries to advertise on his website. So he did build something, but it's not always about monetizing your podcast like Joe Rogan or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes there's another path that you got to look into.
Use the podcast to establish yourself as the expert. And then once you're an expert, people are willing to pay you in all kinds of different ways for that expertise.
Exactly. And I don't know if you talk about or you help with partnership and sponsors. Obviously it's a little bit harder, but I think what I tell people, if you can have the right niche, then you can sell it to a sponsor. Right. You need the right niche. It can't be like, I talk to entrepreneur all days about entrepreneurship. And it's like, okay, well maybe BDC, right?
Yeah.
Maybe there's a bank that would attach it to that, but it need to be really good. Right. I know a guy, Harry from the podcast Junkies. I don't remember exact story, so don't quote me on it, but I figure it's something with farms. And so he was starting a podcast on, let's say, farms technology or something, which is probably not that, but it's close enough. And he went to this, it didn't start yet, but he went to this, these conventions, like tech conventions or farming convention. And he talked to these people and he's like, how much do you pay for your booth here? He's like, $25K, and stuff like that to meet like 100 people or whatever. And he's like, well, how about paying $9K? And you're going to sponsor my podcast about this, and you're going to meet these people. So he had a list of people already. Okay. This is the people. And he's like, yeah, I want to meet these people. So there was a connection with the sponsorship and all that stuff. So he paid, before the podcast started, he paid $9,000 to do that. And now it's $15,000 US for his podcast sponsorship. But you have to have the right niche. It can't always be like my podcast, which is just meeting entrepreneurs. Unless you just want to meet these people and make a connection. Right.
That's the value. But for sure. I mean, it's like looking at partnerships like that, you're going to get way more, money per view, basically. Right. Compared to, you go to, YouTube, AdSense or whatever, or Spotify advertising sponsorship, and you're getting like a random ad for Doritos, and they want to pay, pennies for billions of views of their Doritos ad. I think, you need a massive audience for that to make money, but you can do it with a small audience if you're making these direct partnerships and staying in that niche, right?
Yeah, I think having a niche is the first part. And some people maybe start a podcast without having that. Some people start with, I want to sell this, right? And if you have that mindset, obviously you'll get there. But if you start a podcast because of passion and you want to sell it, but it's not good, it's a little bit harder to pitch or sell. So people have to think about that in a big way. So I think we're going to wrap it up, but tell me a little bit about how you started in podcasting, very quickly.
For sure.
Like how did you get there?
So I was working at the University of Toronto in like a communications job, and my friend and I were really into this audio podcast, This American Life. We always talked about it every morning, Monday morning after listening to it. And so we decided to start our own podcast, just, as a hobby for fun. So learned all the tech, made all the mistakes, made 100 episodes over a couple of years. And then I got a bit of education in storytelling and documentary along the way, and started working with CBC Radio a bit and stuff like that. And so I really come at it from audio and from storytelling, and then this video podcast rise that leads to places like this and like our studio now. Forced me to learn the video side of it as well. And I think now video is pretty essential. We have a few kind of legacy clients that are still doing audio only, but almost all of our new clients now are doing at least video for clips. Sometimes they'll do they want audio only for the main kind of episode, and then they'll do clips with video. But that's that's how I got into it, is really through that sort of the passion for storytelling and for podcasting and for audio, and then learned video along the way. And that was 13 or 14 years ago now, that 2011 started the hobby podcast. And so that's another way to get paid. Podcasting is
when did the pop-up podcasting started?
Pop-up podcasting's been
it's been a while
there for 2017.
2017.
Wow. So 8 years. We've been around a while, and there's been lots of iteration. Again, the rise of video, we didn't have video cameras in our studio.
I remember
when we first opened.
Because I remember when I started in podcasting, I was looking at your studio because you were kind of the only one. And as a conference room with 2 mics or something like that. And then you guys added the cameras, and I saw everything.
And then we had a COVID version where we went down to only two 2 mics and 2 cameras and put people, 12 feet apart in either corner of the room.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, recently we've upgraded. And speaking of the benefits of competition, it's really seeing this space that you made. It was just beautiful space. And then I was like, okay, we got to up our game. And so I think, podcasters in Ottawa are benefiting from our competition. And I think our business has also seen some growth since we, made those kind of aesthetic upgrades.
Yeah, I think it helps to see who's doing what and how to upgrade. And I think did you make all the stuff yourself, like the table and stuff?
A lot of it, yeah, yeah. I mean, I did a CNC custom table, so I got Wood Source here in Ottawa to cut the table for us. But then I was in my basement screwing on the legs and building,
me and Martin made this table
in
his garage.
Great. Yeah.
Took a lot of effort.
A
lot of long nights,
That's great.
with some reclaimed wood and stuff.
Well, and you start looking at broadcast desk online, and you're like $7,000 or whatever, starting point. So
and at least you had the bright idea to actually make a custom table, because a lot of tables, I just hate these podcasts. They're more like, it's
a rectangle table, and you're not.
And some people do it okay, they get away with it. And the new style of filming came out, which is like shooting like this, like from the side,
right?
And it's like, you worked at CBC, I worked at CBC too,
right. Yeah.
And it's like, it's not really like that's not the right way. It's okay, and it's a new style, and it's kind of cool, but
well, I mean, my thing is like I want to be able to see both of the person's eyes.
Two eyes. You got to see the 2 eyes. That's kind of it's a basic TV thing that people would know if they were being TV and and they don't know. And I think, lighting, the table's important. I think, do you have like tabletops mics?
Yeah, because we have, so our setup accommodates up to 4 people.
Yeah,
and so we kind of
around.
changed the, we don't have boom arms like this. We have kind of like those tabletop stands so we can move them around, but
which is great.
No, and we went up. We used to have a setup. We used to have a 3 camera setup, but for up to 4 people, and so you'd have 2 shots, like two shots.
That's what we can do here with 2 people here.
Yeah. Which and not, I mean, 90% of podcasts are this. It's 2 people. So
some people ask for 4, and and then they're like, "Do you have other mics?" Like for us, it's kind of a problem. We put the mic in between,
right?
But in Broussard, we can actually like plug in another mic kind of thing.
Yeah,
there's still a lot of process there, but it's
It doesn't matter how big you build it though, because like we have a regular setup for 4 people, but the number of people who ask about 5, then, and you're like, 5 is like, that's a lot of people on mic.
And I thought about it, like 1 person there and then 4 and have like almost like a political debate, And it's like, no, I'm like, you need a broadcast studio at this point. And I think, I think this is good.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for me, like on anything? And
I think maybe once we stop recording, I want to look at your tech a bit more, because I'm curious about that. But no, I mean, it's a beautiful space you have here, and
thank you.
Thanks so much for having me in. And I think
thanks for coming. As a competitor, it could feel like, like a bad thing, I guess.
Sure.
But I always, I used to be a dance teacher, and funny enough, like the school that I went to was not the school that I wanted to teach at.
Okay.
Because school finished, whatever. And I'm going to this swing dance school called Swing Dynamite. Yeah. And they kind of really didn't want me, because I didn't really learn there. So anyway, so I started my own school. Okay. And then they were like, no, this is bad, and they didn't want to work together. Yeah. And it's like, we're just going to grow the whole population of dancers, and people will switch sides, because honestly, people want different set design. They see my set design, and obviously they follow me, and they're like, oh, I see it a lot. Yeah. Well, yeah, you follow me. But like, there's a whole world out there, So sometimes people want different set design, which is good if we have multiple spaces, right? Yeah. And I think that's okay.
Yeah. Oh, no, 100%. It's, I mean, not many businesses can say, I have 1 or 2 or 3 competitors, right? Like most places, there's thousands of competitors. And so, we can handle a couple.
Yes. And I think there's enough people that could do podcasting for us to kind of make a good business out of it for both of us, I think.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And maybe the third podcast out there.
Oh, no, if anybody else joins, they're dead.
Yeah, we're going to squash them.
That's right.
Just kidding. All right. Thanks, JP.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.